Right then, we're back for the sort of second part of this massive Beneath Summerfield book unboxing in the 73rd Underworld update. So yeah, we've got 4 more, but going to be showcasing 4 books in this part, which is the remainders of the bundle that I started unboxing in the previous part. So next book I will be showcasing is Dry Pilgrimage. So yeah, without further ado, let's take a look at the presentation of this Doctor Who book. So we have The New Adventures, N.A., Dry Pilgrimage, Paul Leonard and Nick Walters. There you've got Beneath Summerfield with my dad. We're in this sort of massive sort of beachy area with sort of all sorts of palm trees and stuff. A big sort of splash in the background there. Sort of purplish mountains there. Very sort of nice cover overall. Then for the spine we have Dry Pilgrimage, Paul Leonard and Nick Walters, N.A. Quite a thick Doctor Who book this is. And then for the back we have Dry Pilgrimage, quote, synopsis, The New Adventures, a bit about the writers, cover design, original prices, science fiction, barcode. And now for the synopsis on this Beneath Summerfield version New Adventure. I am going to make you immortal. Bored with her job, bored with being perpetually skint, Beneath Summerfield leaps at the chance of a free holiday arranged by her new friend, Maeve Ruffin, St. Oscar's professor of comparative religion. But all is not what it seems. Benny's holiday rapidly goes from bad to worse to downright dangerous. For a start, the luxury cruise is a religious pilgrimage, and alcohol is forbidden to those on board. Then she is attacked, badly injured, and confined to a wheelchair. And that's before the murder. Benny finds herself caught in a web of intrigue, not knowing who on board can be trusted or which way to turn, and with the future of more than one world depending on her actions, she must decide who to believe, expose the hidden killer, and prevent a ruthless grab for power. The New Adventures, Paul Leonard has written loads of things. Some of them are actually good, but most are only highly acclaimed. Nick Walters can often be zooming around Bristol on Beneath his bicycle. Yeah, I'm glad he put his bicycle there. This is his first novel. And for the interior of this Doctor Who book we have N.A. Dry Pilgrimage, quote from this book, The New Adventures, Dry Pilgrimage, Paul Leonard and Nick Walters, N.A. Then there you've got various copyright guff and sort of dedications of the book, acknowledgements, and then there you've got a start of this Beneath Summerfield version New Adventure. This is a 292 page long Beneath Summerfield version New Adventure, spread across 28 chapters with no prologue or epilogue. And for the back of this Doctor Who book we have also in the New Adventures, just advertisements further of the New Adventures there, and a little bit of contact information down there. So yeah, this should be quite an interesting read. I would say, judging by the blurb, I would say it sounds like such a really strong book. I was sort of at this sort of part up there, but it sort of gradually got better and better, and when it said that Beneath Summerfield was attacked and badly injured and confined to a wheelchair, I was like, oh, this sounds so interesting and sort of gritty. Very thick book, as you can see. As you heard, it is nearly 300 pages long. So yeah, it should be an interesting read. Nick Walters, I haven't had any experience of that writer before. Paul Leonard I do actually quite like. I liked his book Dreamstone Moon, and I also liked his Virgin New Adventure, Toy Soldiers I think it's called. Both of those books, that 7th Doctor Virgin New Adventure and that 8th Doctor EDA Adventure, I thought were really good, so this should be an interesting book overall, and I will probably be reviewing this in the future for the Scoldstone Reviews Month events too. In fact, I'll probably say that's pretty much a guarantee. Anyways, on to the sort of second half of this bundle by unboxing the next half of this bundle, which is contained in here. This is the rare book right here, which I'm very excited to show you guys. and I will be showcasing in this part. So let's unbox this little sort of package of books and unleash it from its sort of cling film sheath. So the next Beneath Summerfield Virgin New Adventure I will be showing in this video is Another Girl, Another Planet by Martin Day and Len Beach. So without further ado, let's take a look at the presentation of this Doctor Who book. So we have Martin Day and Len Beach, Another Girl, Another Planet. Then they've got some type of spaceship on the front there, for Big City in the background, and below the spaceship. It looks like quite a nice cover overall, I would personally say. And then for the spine we have Another Girl, Another Planet, Martin Day and Len Beach, NA. And then for the back we have Another Girl, Another Planet, quote, synopsis and a bit about the writers, NA. Cover design, Slater Anderson. Cover painting, Fred Gambino. New Adventures in Imprint of Virgin Publishing Limited. And then there you've got the original sort of recommended prices and the genre of this book. Then there you've got the barcode. And now for the synopsis. Another Girl, Another Planet. I'm being stalked. I'm sure of it now. I'm frightened and I need a friend. Elizabeth Fugard is an archaeologist working on a backwater rock of a world. She's bankrolled by a government she despises and has recently split up with her partner. And just when she thinks life can't get any worse, someone starts following her, keeping to the shadows but always there, watching, waiting, eyes boring into her soul, the most beguiling eyes she has ever seen, and the most terrifying. All she can think of is to call on the help of her old friend Professor Beneath Summerfield, and Beneath is only too happy to get away from her own work and see a bit more of the galaxy. But on arrival she is soon immersed in sabotage, political secrets, gun running, and an age-old love affair that ended in disaster and disgrace. To end a cycle of violence and hate, Beneath and Elizabeth must discover the truth, but doing so could have implications far beyond this obscure world. Len Beach has written adult horror novels, sci-fi and fantasy novels, and poetry under a number of pseudonyms. This is his 20th book. Martin Day is the author of a number of TV reference books and Doctor Who novels. This is his 10th book. And now for the interior of this Doctor Who book, we have the New Adventures, Another Girl, Another Planet, Martin Day and Len Beach, NA. And then there you've got various copyright guff there, and thanks from the two writers there. And then there you've got a start of this book, well, quite literally. This is a 245 page long Beneath Summerfield Virgin New Adventure, spread across 12 core chapters, a prologue, an epilogue, and sort of a story of circles type thing back there from one of the characters in the book, which sort of continues on for quite a few pages, about 10. And then they've got advertisements for other books in the Virgin New Adventures. And then they've got announcing Professor Beneath Summerfield starring in brand new audio dramas at the back there, with sort of a blank page at the back there. So yeah, I don't really know too much about this book, but the sort of synopsis itself does sound quite interesting, quite a political sort of story, I would say. So yeah, I don't really think I can really say much more other than that. It just sounds like a really sort of political story. Not familiar at all with Len Beach, hadn't even heard of him until I picked up this book. Martin Day I am familiar with, but I haven't read any of his books, I don't think. But he is meant to be quite a popular writer who wrote lots of the 7th Doctor PDAs with Mike Tucker, I think. Yeah, he did. So yeah, it should be an interesting read, but not a priority. But I don't think it's a priority. I'm much more interested in some of the other Beneath Summerfield Virgin New Adventures I have. So yeah, there is that book. Right then, on to the final two books from this massive 6-book bundle of Beneath Summerfield books. We have Where Angels Fear by Rebecca Levine and Simon Winstone. So without further ado, let us take a look at the presentation of this Doctor Who book. So we have at the top there, Where Angels Fear. And bottom there we have the two writers, Rebecca Levine and Simon Winstone. For the cover art itself, flying against this planet, we have a naked man angel type creature with all sorts of lightning bolts and static electricity sort of from the groin around his thigh, part of his leg and up to his waist. I have a big sort of planet in the background and a couple of shooting stars in the background there. Quite a simple, relatively simple cover in my opinion, but quite a nice one nonetheless. And then for the spine we have Where Angels Fear, Rebecca Levine and Simon Winstone, NA. And then for the back we have Where Angels Fear, quote, synopsis, NA, bit about the authors, cover designs by Slater Anderson, cover painting by John Sullivan. The New Adventures is an imprint of Virgin Publishing Limited, the original UK and US prices, science fiction, barcode. And now for the synopsis on this Beneath Summerfield Virgin New Adventure. Where Angels Fear. Do you believe? Something very odd is happening on the university planet of Della, home to Beneath Summerfield. Famed archaeologist, adventurer, raconteur and Bartholey. A long-ignored religion is rapidly gaining recruits. The faithful rejoice and talk of their god walking the land once more, and in secret rooms on campus, arcane arts are practiced with dangerously successful results. Behind these apparent absurdities, something far darker is going on, something that has consequences for everyone. The most powerful races of the universe are running scared, withdrawn to their own strongholds and leaving the lesser people to their fate. But what can have warped reality in this way, and why? Has the time of the gods finally come? As Bernice and her friends begin to investigate, they soon realise that in the terrible conflict to come, each of them will have to choose their sides. Rebecca Levine edited science fiction at Virgin for over 5 years. More recently, she has been a freelance journalist and storyliner for Emmerdale. Simon Winstone is the editor of the New Adventures. When he is not writing, he leads an exotic lifestyle well beyond his means. This is their first novel. So yeah, and for the interior of this Doctor Who book, we have NA, Where Angels Fear. New Adventures, Where Angels Fear, Rebecca Levine and Simon Winstone, NA. Various copyright guff, Rebecca's dedication and Simon's dedication. Acknowledgements and start of this sort of book. This is a 238 page long Beneath Summerfield novel spread across a prologue, an epilogue and 12 core chapters. And at the back of the book we have also available in the New Adventures line, sort of everything published in the New Adventures line with Beneath Summerfield. And then at the back there we've got Beneath Summerfield to star in brand new audio dramas out the back there. So yeah, I don't know a terrible lot about this book. Once again, Beneath Summerfield range is a sort of range of books that I've always been interested in reading, but I just don't know a terrible lot about the book, so it's nice just to get a vast quantity, namely 10, so I can get a good sort of flavour for the sort of whole range itself. And the synopsises of lots of them, such as Pilgrimage, which I showcased earlier, sounds like such a good book, and this once again follows suit. Sounds like quite an interesting sort of Doctor Who novel dealing with religion. I recently read Companion Piece, which is a 7th Doctor Telos novella, and that dealt with religion quite a bit, and I liked it quite a lot. I thought it was a nice, fun, sort of quick read. I am completely crap at saying that. But yeah, it should be a nice read. I like sort of religious Doctor Who books from the little experience that I have had, and it does sound like quite a good novel, and I'm thinking of reading this one in the future. It sounds really good and really strong. I'm still in the process of mapping out the Scholarship and Reviews Month Event 2, sort of waiting for my book collection actually, because I will probably be reviewing, or probably will be accepting book review requests in that video, or in the comment section of that video. Anyways, final Bernice Summerfield novel from this bundle is one that I am very, very happy to have. Out of all 27 of the Bernice Summerfield Virgin New Adventures that there are, I would arguably say that this is the most iconic out of all of them. Not the rarest, it's one of the rarest, but I wouldn't say it's the absolute rarest. But it is without question the most iconic in my opinion. This is the legendary Dead Romance by Lawrence Miles. Wow, it's a great feeling to have this book. So for the cover we have Dead Romance, Lawrence Miles, and then we've got this sort of massive sort of purplish blue, light blue, cyan, kaleidoscopic vortex sort of merging with black, fading into a sort of massive sort of orange type skyline with all sorts of spaceships, lots of little Illuminati buildings that compose this city, with a massive muscly ripped dragon type looking thing on the cover with a sort of fencing mask for an eye. Very good sort of attention to detail on the cover. I like the sort of attention to detail in the eye of the creature, of how the buildings and the reflection of its eye looks warped. It's a very nice cover, lots of attention to detail. I love every sort of colour and everything to this cover. It's one of my favourite covers personally. I just love all of the minor details to it, such as the veins on the monster. It just looks absolutely fantastic. Then for the spine we have Dead Romance, Lawrence Miles, NA, and then for the back we have Dead Romance, quote, the synopsis, a bit about the writer, NA, cover design by Slater Anderson, cover painting by David Wyatt, good job David Wyatt. The New Adventure is an imprint of Virgin Publishing Limited, UK $5.99, US $6.95, science fiction, barcode. And now for the synopsis on this Bernice Summerfield adventure. Dead Romance. Alright, let's start with the basics. The world ended on the 12th of October 1970. I don't know why I'm writing this. It's not like anybody is going to read it. At least nobody who cares about the fact that I'm a desperate, dying 23-year-old human being who has just had the whole history taken away from her. To whoever's out there, to whatever's left, this is the way things were, just before the end. This is the story about the last days of London, about murder and love and waking up in the ruins, about all the people buried in the wreckage. I'm lying, obviously. This is my story. This is what I was doing when October the 12th came, because let's face it, I'm the only one who matters. I'm the only one who got out alive. Lawrence Miles wrote the acclaimed New Adventures Christmas on a Rational Planet and Down, although he claims that Dead Romance is his most complex and challenging work yet. This isn't really the kind of thing the publishers feel he should be telling people. And then for the interior of this Doctor Who book we have NA Dead Romance, quote, The New Adventures Dead Romance, Lawrence Miles, NA. Then there you've got various copyright guff and a sort of note by Lawrence Miles. And then there you've got the start of this Doctor Who book. This is a 294 page long Bernice Summerfield novel spread across different sort of notebook type things and hundreds, possibly thousands of chapter inceptions. As you can see, that there's like chapter 115 there, and then if we were to go further back, there's chapter 58, 59, 85, 86. It just looks like a mass of chapter inceptions and stuff, and it looks like it's all done by the sort of diary sort of point of view of a character in this book, which I'm assuming is Bernice Summerfield, as it said her on the back somewhere here. It's not like anybody's going to read it. Nobody who cares about the fact I'm a desperate, dying 23-year-old human being who has just had their whole history taken away from her. So I'm assuming that this is Bernice Summerfield's sort of diary perspective in this book, sort of like all sort of taking place from the perspective of Bernice Summerfield with her diary. It should be a really interesting read. And there you've got quotes, not quotes, advertisements for other Bernice Summerfield Virgin New Adventures. Then there you've got an advertisement for Tears of the Oracle, the next Bernice Summerfield Virgin New Adventure after Dead Romance. So yeah, I am really happy about having Dead Romance, and it should be an interesting read, and I would like to review it in the future. From what I know of, Christmas on a Rational Planet, Down and Dead Romance all hinted at the faction paradox, having minor sort of hints and implications towards the upcoming faction paradox sort of storyline that would come in the EDAs, or the whole series of the books rather. And I would probably quite accurately say that Down, Christmas on a Rational Planet, Dead Romance are sort of like one big mission to the unknown for the whole series, and Alien Bodies is like the Nightmare Begins for the entire range. And no, I'm not saying that just to whack off the Daleks' master plan once again, because seriously, think about it. Alien Bodies was literally the Nightmare Begins for the faction paradox. Because I mean, how fucking convoluted did that arc get? I mean, Lawrence Miles actively had to try and write this monstrosity just to try and remedy the whole fucking up of the faction paradox arc, only to fail with these books apparently. So yeah, Alien Bodies was quite literally the Nightmare Begins for the faction paradox arc in my personal opinion. And this Down and Christmas on a Rational Planet all sort of acted as three different or one whole together missions to the unknown. I don't know if this is connected in an arc with Christmas or Down, but it did say on the back here that it did say somewhere in here, I think, that it is within the same universe of Christmas and a Rational Planet. Yeah, Lawrence Miles says this really sort of vague thing here. Note for continuity purists and nobody else, the universe in which much of Dead Romance takes place, the universe of the gods, the planet Della and Bernice Summerfield, is the same universe in which the events of Christmas on a Rational Planet, Down and indeed every other new adventure takes place. However, this is absolutely and positively isn't the same universe in which any other books I might have written are set, with thanks to Camille Wessner, who supplied the material for the research. So it looks like it takes place in the same universe of which the events Christmas on a Rational Planet and Down happened, but at the same time not in the universe of those books. I am confused. So yeah, this should be an interesting sort of experimental and challenging read. I'm not 100% sure if I'll try and tackle this Doctor Who book because it looks like it's so mad, but I do have faith that Lawrence Miles here did put it off, because this was obviously way before this mess and other sort of faction paradox fuck-uppery like Parallel 59 and convolutions of the EDA arc like that. So yeah, it should be a really interesting read, but I'm not quite sure if I'm ready to tackle it. So yeah, and that concludes this sort of massive sort of unboxing. The biggest unboxing there will be for this Underworld Updates mini-series. Just a whole bunch of Bernice Summerfield books, 6 to be exact. Really looking forward to reading Walking to Babylon, Drive Pilgrimage, Another Girl, Another Planet, I would say, Where Angels Fear. Oblivion, I don't think I'm going to read it anytime soon, and Dead Romance I am sort of interested in, but sort of scared by at the same time. So I'll most likely read Walking to Babylon, Drive Pilgrimage, and Where Angels Fear, maybe Another Girl, Another Planet. Whenever I get around to them after I've read Oh No It Isn't and Beyond the Sun. But yeah, should be interesting reads nonetheless, and it is a great sort of I don't know, sort of bulk out of my sort of Bernice Summerfield collection. This was the sort of last clip I recorded of this massive 4-part Underworld update, and I can safely say that I now have 10 Bernice Summerfield books. But yeah, on to the